Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Judgments. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. We've got 4 decks for you. We've got a tournament announcement. We've got bundle guides. We've got a ton to get to. So before we get started, hit that sub button, hit that like, and hit that comment. We bring you more decks every single weekday. Also, videos on Sundays, a podcast on Saturdays, everything you could need for your Marvel Snap journey. If you want to hit Infinite, if you want to just hang out, if you want bundle guides, if you want variants, we've got it all on this channel. Hit sub, it's free, and it helps us beat that YouTube algorithm. Let's go. We also have this giveaway sheet. It's every active giveaway in Marvel Snap, thanks to our friend Banshee. It's in the description to this and every single video. You can find some great content and win some free stuff on that sheet. We get nothing out of it, so feel free to check it out. All right. Our basic outline for the day, we're going to begin with our questions of the day. Then we've got a deck by Spyro. It's actually Dott.geo's deck, but Spyro's playing it, and he changed one card. He changed Spider-Ham to Iceman in the deck, but Spyro has played it to top 20. It might be the best deck in Snap, so we have to take a look at it. Then we've got the Lambie Series tournament announcement. We're going to talk about how you can join that, when it is, where it is, so on. Our friend Benjamin Roller has a wonderful deck we'll talk about. Then we're going to go over weekend mission decks. We have 5 of them for you, ways to get through your weekend missions. Then a deck that I made, sort of, question mark, kind of. We can also credit our friend Den. I made the deck on our friend Lil Robotussin's Twitch stream. Once in a while at night when I have some time, I hang out as the video uploads and I just bullshit with him. As we were on that stream, I made the deck. I talked about the cards, like literally live on air, and then I joined Yo Woody MJ's stream, and he had literally the exact same deck. Not his stream, sorry, his Discord, and I looked in their decks chat, and he had literally the exact same deck. I was like, I made a deck, and it's got such a high win rate. Nah, man, other people came with the same deck at the same time. It's not a thing. It's not super complicated, but I am fairly proud of it. It's a really cool deck. Then we've got a bundle guide for Demon Legionnaire, and we're going to end, because the homies know the truth, Ika is one of the best deck builders in the game. Ika has a lovely move Blob deck we're going to take a look at. That is our bonus deck for the day, and then we're going to end with our shop and shoutouts. All right, so quick reminders. This is a daily snap show. We release 3 decks daily, at least 4 today, and have numerous recurring segments. We do things like custom cards, bundle guides, pro tips, so on. Last Sunday, we covered Series 4 and 5 card acquisition, how to optimize it, so please make sure you check that video out if you're still like working on getting the most bang for your buck in Marvel Snap, or you're free to play and want to know how to optimize. Yesterday was our Series 4 and 5 tier list, so if you're not sure which Series 4 and 5 cards to get, at 2 different points between Dex and yesterday's video, we did a full tier list. Our next Season Pass giveaway starts next Wednesday. We give away 15 Season Passes every season. Tomorrow on the Marvel Snap Zone YouTube or every podcatcher will be our podcast with Schnirp and Lauren Whatevs. It went really well. We had a freaking blast. We'll be back here with Lambie's tournament coverage on Sunday. Check out the Patreon if you're interested, and if you need personal help, hit me up on either Twitter or Discord, and I will make time for you. Questions of the day. Greg is Fun asks, what card has surprised me the most since the patch? Nothing. This was not a patch that surprised me, sorry. Sometimes it happens that I'm like, I think this is good, not good, and I'm like utterly shocked. I guess if Ms. Marvel was a patch ago, right? Let's say Ms. Marvel anyway, because I did not expect Ms. Marvel to be as negatively affected as she was. She was fairly negatively affected. Ms. Marvel was actually hit really hard. She's still a great card, but she's no longer like, why would you not run her in every deck? Great. And I think that's a really good place for her to be. They did a really excellent job with her nerf. Zaburi asks if Werewolf by Night should be Speedball or Puck for flavor reasons. I mean, yep, probably. Like, that would make a lot of sense if Werewolf by Night was Speedball or Puck. But here we are. They clearly came up with the idea of doing like a Halloween season and then retrofitted the abilities onto that Halloween season, right? It's good enough for Werewolf and mimics him pouncing all around, although quite why he's pouncing all around on allies and not enemies is confusing. Yeah. Werewolf, but he's a little hard to control, so I guess that fits a little bit, but so are Speedball and Puck. I think I'd like to see Werewolf by Night as Speedball. I think that would fit better. Good call. I wish they paid a little more attention to which character would best fit the ability they're giving, but That's not their number one priority. A fun game is. Gunny T asks that since I see a lot of decks, is there anything that gets me excited to cover a deck? Win rate, cube rate, new cards, and new deck style are the ones he says. So every Thursday, I want to find new card decks. So Thursday, I'm specifically looking for decks with the card that came out Tuesday. I don't like to find the best decks Wednesday because I feel like it takes some time to really marinate, and I don't want to give people half-baked ideas. Yesterday's whatchamacallit, Grandmaster decks, and there's a couple today, are significantly better than they would have been on Wednesday. So I think that's important to know. A really high win rate is useful. Like, honestly, let's do the quick clickbait talk again. The thumbnails have clickbait in them. The clickbait is not for you, dear viewer. The thumbnail clickbait, like the same bunch of people watch the beginning of all my videos. YouTube, whatever their algorithm does, shows my video to a lot more people when I have clickbait in the title. I can see my click-through rates. I can see how many impressions my videos get. If I put stupid clickbait in the title, YouTube shows it to an infinite, like, not an infinite, but like an extra like 10 to 15,000 people. It's obnoxious. It's stupid. But it's the stupid game of YouTube. I am really sorry. If I could just say these decks are really good. And I think like the deck that I'm featuring, the deck I made that I also found on Woody's Discord, I think is one of the best decks in the game. It is the best deck I've played since the Blob nerf. Straight up, it is. That was not hyperbole. It is. But like when I'm like 90% win rate busted breaks the meta, that's just because those are the keywords that YouTube wants to show you the damn thing. Because some number of people click extra because they saw those words, and YouTube's algorithm likes it. It makes it happy, and so we see it. So when I see a really high win rate deck, I go, okay, I guess I can throw it in the thumbnail, even if that's not the one I'm most excited to try that day, because I won't lie, right? Like I could just make up win rates. I never ever do that. So I have to be honest, so I'm as honest as I can be, and then as soon as the video starts, all the bullshit goes away, and you're just getting me unfiltered. Cool? Okay. What actually gets me most excited almost all of the time is something novel. I want something that does something different, and there's two types of novelty that I think are really, really cool. I think totally new decks, totally new archetypes are really cool, and I think like perfect optimizations of things are really cool. I guess there's three, because I also think things that went away for a while that came back are massively cool. So things that like the reason I like the Darkhawk deck we're going to talk about later is because it's some unknown, unplayed deck. It existed for a very short time before Blob. And then as soon as Blob came out, like the deck sort of, I don't want to say disappeared, but like it wasn't viable anymore. And now that deck is back and it's sort of optimized and it actually works with Grandmaster really freaking well. Those are things I think are really cool. And that like got me going as like, oh my God, this is cool. Decks that are like, okay, so the first deck we're going to talk about, I'm actually going to pull it up while we talk. It's this deck, right? This got me excited because I think this is like the max optimization possible for the Annihilus bounce. Cool. I think that's really cool. Figuring out like the perfect 12. And I think for right now, this is the perfect 12 for this deck. That's so cool. We got a perfect 12. And then completely novel decks, completely new decks that don't do anything else. They're really, really rare in Snap. So like, sorry, but they are cool. Recently Tribunal started showing up in Phoenix decks, right? That was novel enough to make me really excited. And you saw me cover a bajillion Phoenix decks in a row for a while because I was so excited that we had this new thing to do, this new combination of stuff that Kyra honestly opened up for us. So that's the kind of things that get me really excited to cover a deck. If you want your question asked in Sunday's video, just leave one in the comments and I'll get to it within either Sunday or Monday's video. Promise. All right. This is the Dott.geo deck. Geo's like the number 7 ranked player in the world right now, and Spyro's in the top 20. I don't actually know if Geo's top number 7, but he's like somewhere in the like 4 to 8-ish range when I checked earlier today. And Spyro just hit, he was 19 last I checked with this exact deck. I don't know if Geo changed Spider-Ham for Iceman, and the reason for the change, according to Spyro, is that Iceman is better against Mobius decks because at least he can mess up their early curve, whereas Spider-Ham is just like if they have Mobius, Spider-Ham is suddenly really good, not really bad. Right? Like if they play Mobius and they have Spider-Ham, they now have a 0-cost card, which is powerful. So why would you give them that? This deck is simple. It has 3 real packages It says I'm running Werewolf with 1, so I can make Werewolf reasonably big, and Beast and Falcon obviously synergize with that if I let you multi-use your 1s. Excuse me. Multiple Demons, multiple Nikos, multiple Iceman, multiple Forge are all great. It's got the Zabu package. Zabu now synergized with Werewolf. So if we're running that, we might as well run Shang and Enchantress because they're really strong. And Enchantress, we have exactly 1 ongoing of our own to hit. And then we've got the little Annihilus package, which is Hood, which synergizes with Werewolf also. Sentry, which synergizes with Zabu also. And Annihilus, which is just a massive amount of power if it gets going. So there's lots of ways to win the game here. It's not an easy deck to play because it's got so many ways to win the game, but it might be the best deck in Snap right now, even if it wasn't literally a week ago. All right, so Nico can be Spider-Ham or Hawkeye. Hawkeye is not always my first pick here, but look, Lambie sold me on him, at least as an option for these decks. This needs Zabu, Werewolf, and Annihilus. I'm really sorry. The record that Spyro pulled with this is 56 and 34 for 62%. It is 1,000% worth noting, like a bajillion percent worth noting, that this record is pulled in the top 20, which is harder. Someone left a comment yesterday where they were like, oh, the great record in the top 30 isn't that impressive because people are just running to maintain their rank. It's like, those are the best players playing complete as close to optimally as you can. A really high rank there is extremely impressive. It's not some weird pocket meta thing. It's a deck doing extremely well against the best competition. That's what you want, right? Like a deck that's doing the best against the top competition is probably what you're going to rank up the most with. Not always, though, because sometimes when you're playing the best deck, you need the opponents to play well so that you can beat them with the best deck. And opponents that do suboptimal things can sometimes steal cubes from you, right? Like, someone was like, I lost with a deck. Different person was like, I lost with a deck to a Annihilus deck running debris and stuff at this day and age. Like, that's not a good deck. Like, yeah, maybe it beat you, but like, that's not a deck you should be seeing in high ranks, right? So like, you're not going to optimize to beat a 1 in like 1,000 deck. You optimize to beat the meta. It's just how Snap works. All right. So is this the best deck right now? I think there's a real argument for yes. I think it's kind of this or the Darkhawk deck we're going to talk about. My pick for, I mean, I guess Thanos Blob still has to be there, but like I'm not seeing it, and Loki has to be there. So those are my big 4, I guess. Context change though, right? Blob is no longer everywhere, and Blob just ate this kind of deck. Thanos just eats this kind of deck. It doesn't really worry about the deck space, and it can put enough pressure on that like it just goes big enough that it's obnoxious. Well, if that's not the case, if Thanos doesn't get as big, doesn't go as over the top, if you can get that Enchantress and Shang going, then you can beat that deck. And this can beat kind of everything else. It was the best deck before that, or was among the best decks before that, so now it's right back there. This deck was created a couple weeks ago, and I didn't cover it. It was created in the Blob meta, and I was just like, well, this isn't what you should be playing into the Blob meta, right? It was still good. Like, the best players can kind of climb because they're so good. But it wasn't right for the meta, and now it is. All right, turn 1, Iceman or Hood. Turn 2, Zabu or 2/1. Zabu is obviously priority, but 2/1s are fine. Turn 3, Werewolf or Bounce. Beast is your priority bounce because making cards cost 0 is great. Turn 4, Werewolf or Sentry. Sometimes you'll bounce, but not if you can Werewolf or Sentry usually. And I tend to not Sentry unless I have Annihilus, or I can threaten Annihilus with a Snap. Good. Turn 5 is Annihilus, and turn 6 is 1s plus Shang or Enchantress usually. Careful where you leave the Wolf. If they're playing Annihilus, you flip those turns. You do Annihilus on turn 6, not turn 5. Cool. Nice simple play pattern. It's not simple to play, but the pattern to learn is simple. You're just looking for these things and just trying to play around them when you don't have them. Quick variant talk. We've got an Iceman hip, a Zabu hip, a Falcon hip, a Beast hip, and an Annihilus hip. So 5, not great, but not terrible. Noir for Hood, Hellfire Gala for Forge, Midnight Suns for Nico. We've got Jacinto for Shang and Enchantress, and the awesome comic book cover of Werewolf. I don't remember who made Merge Sentry. I want to say it's Jacinto, but like then there's the other Jacinto, and I don't know if Jacinto did 2 Sentries. I gotta check that out. All right. This Saturday, tomorrow, as most of you are watching this, unless you're on the Patreon, Rally Cries Marvel Snap Open. It is the Lambie Open. You love to see it. This is edition 5 of this tournament. There's $700 in prizes, and because this is the Lambie Open, most of the best players in Snap are playing. So if you really want to test yourself, or you just want to watch great Snap, you need to check this out. Here's what you need to know. You can check in on 127. You check in if you're in on 127 at 9 a.m. The bracket, the stream starts at 10:15, same day. Registration ends at 8. Actually, it might be 8:45. Or let's just say 8 so you're not late. On 127 at 8. This is all Eastern times. First place is $300, second place is $200, and third and fourth place are both $100. You can watch on Twitch. I don't know why I wrote Twitter. At Twitch at twitch.com/LambieSeriesTV. And you can sign up at rallycry.gg and then all the other stuff. I'll throw that in the description to the video, so if you want to sign up, you can. The full tournament breakdown Sunday will be on this very channel, so if you're interested in what the best decks are and a breakdown of how to play them and all the other interesting events of the tournament, please make sure you check us out. All right. So I know it says 73% in 26 games. We also have another 30-game sample, so we're at something reasonable, and at a 60% win rate at that too. This deck is winning a lot, and I keep being like, but why? But it is. Our friend Benjamin Roller has 2 L's in his name sometimes. Apparently I can't type today. What are you going to do? No kids at work because a testing week means apparently typing isn't my thing. But this is a really powerful deck. So yay, Mikey, for finding a powerful deck. It also lets me run my Taco Bell Modoc, so we're happy. This is nice and simple, right? It has a straight up linear play pattern. You want a Modoc on 5, and on 6 drop Apocalypse with some swarms. If you see Mobius, you're going to have to adjust your play patterns as best you can. It doesn't even bother with Dracula because you're playing your Apocalypse when you draw him in this deck. If you don't see Apocalypse, you're probably running. That simple. If you can get rid of Apocalypse a couple times with, say, a Blade and a Lady Sif, and you don't see Modoc, then you have a Stature on turn 5 with some other cards. And because you didn't see Modoc, right? So that's nice. Silver Samurai on 4 lets you do that. Oh, simple enough. Miek can be Nebula or Iceman. I think he's actually really good here, though, so don't cut him if you don't have to. This needs Modoc. Obviously, Modoc is the key to every discard deck. Get Modoc if you like discard. To every Apocalypse discard deck. Samurai can be Moon Knight or Gambit. You lose a massive amount of consistency that way, but he can be. Samurai's just getting better and better. He's finally almost a meta card. Stature is needed. Series 3 card. Is Stature Series 3? Yeah, Stature is Series 3, so don't stress that. Dakin can be Gladiator, but that probably doesn't help you because that's a changing Series 4 for Series 5. And Dracula may just be better than Dakin. Probably not, but you can run Dracula and just be like 99% of the time, this is a card I discard. And if I happen to not discard it, that's great. It'll help me when I don't see exactly what I want. It's got some value, right? All right. So this went 73% in 26 games on the Marvel Snap Zone tracker, and then 60% in 40 games on the Untapped tracker. So we have some decent stats here. Either which way, this is a good deck. Both different trackers, both different sets of players playing this shows this is a good deck. Our friend Safety Blade, who is again a genius, loves this deck. So turn 1 Miek, but Blade is fine if he's discarding something good, and Benjamin totally wrote this. Turn 2 Morb or Colleen if something good, if you can guarantee something good with Colleen, and something good means Wolverine or Swarm. Turn 3 Sif of Apocalypse, Dakin, who may not belong in the deck. So Colleen is generally played above Dakin here. Colleen if you're going to hit that Swarm or that Wolverine. Because remember, you don't want a Colleen with Morbius along with the other cards in hand, because Colleen's can then risk chuck Morbius. And Morbius is like probably the 3rd most important card in the deck after Apocalypse and Modoc. Turn 4, you basically always want a Samurai if you can. You'll happily drop Dakin or whatever else, but Samurai is the goal. Turn 5, you're attending to Modoc, and if you didn't have Modoc, you Stature plus other stuff. Ideally discarding Apocalypse a couple times. If you don't have Modoc or Apocalypse, for the love of God, run. And then turn 6 is Apocalypse plus Swarms. Quick variant talk. We've got our Blade hip, our Sif hip, our Dakin hip, our Swarm hip, our Stature hip, our Apocalypse hip. So 6 hips, doing better than that last deck. Along with Taco Bell Modoc, the best Silver Samurai. I won't say the only good one because people really like the Rion. Noir for Colleen. I decided to throw in Mech Morbius. I don't know why. I just felt like it for the day. And then Wolverine is sitting here wishing that he had America Chavez in the deck, looking at that picture longingly. Meme Wolverine. All right. Just they release one decent variant for Miek, please. That's not a Spotlight Cache. Just one for Miek and Kara would go so long. And Hercules, sorry. And Grandmaster. Just release one variant for each of them so that, like, yeah, because I'm one variant from Variant Complete for every card that wasn't released in January. Thanks, Snap. Okay. So we've got Weekend Mission decks next up. We've got 2 Scar decks. One is the best ladder. One is the best in Conquest Gold. And like sometimes it's fairly close, so I picked the one with the larger sample if it was fairly close. Then we've got 2 Grandmaster decks. One the best ladder, one the best Conquest Gold, and then one deck that has both of them, which is actually the best Conquest deck for Grandmaster. All right, our first deck is High Evo. This is a nice, simple list, but it's got a couple changes. We don't have Leech in the list anymore. We are instead running Shang-Chi. I think that is some real spice. This is apparently a really high win rate deck. 72% in 100 games on post-infinite ladder is real. I really love Shocker in these decks. I know that Shocker is hard to fit, and you want Cosmo, and you want Armor, and you want this, and you want that. But if Shocker hits She-Hulk, Scar, or Hulk, you're just so powerful. Your skip turn 5, drop them both on turn 6 is so, so powerful. So Shocker is here. Our best infinite, and like this is 2% less than something with a far smaller sample, so it's more reliable, is still Thanos Blob. This is the Torican build. We've talked about it time and again on the channel. If you want, not this past Monday, the Monday before, we did a how to play and beat this deck. So if you're curious, you can check that out. It's like got a full guide for it. This is still like one of the 4 or 5 best decks in Snap. I would not be surprised if this won the tournament tomorrow and it retook over the meta. I hope not, but I can see it. Kyra plus Scar plus Blob. It's just really, really strong. And it's got Shang, so it can answer anything doing other stuff. Oh, and also Lockjaw on Thanos is just probably busted. All right, next up, we have our best Grandmaster, except we have a slightly higher win rate one that we're going to talk about. That's the one that I pseudo made that like other people came up with, but I'm taking partial credit for. This is Revis. This is a Revis deck. Revis basically took his Sarah Shell, took out Mobius, added Quake, took out something else, added Grandmaster, and threw in Eliath, because if you go Sarah on 5, you can do the Eliath Grandmaster thing if you win priority. Blizzard helps you win priority already. Oh, it took out Ms. Marvel. And so you're just trying to win priority. Now, is this deck great at winning priority? No, but people often play to win priority against Sarah decks. Sorry, to throw priority against Sarah decks so they can't get Shangda Enchantress. And if they fight to win priority, Sarah, and then you go Shangda Enchantress and win. Seems nice, right? I want Zabu in this list. I don't know why it's not here, but it's not. All right. Also, by the way, Grandmaster can double your Shang or Enchantress too, which seems like that might be good too. Or Shadow King. Okay. The other list, I did not see this coming, but this is super cool. Grandmaster has been absolutely great in Destroy. Excuse me. In Destroy, sometimes you don't see all your Destroy cards, right? There is that one open spot that we've seen Zola in, we've seen Scar in, we've seen Hulkbuster in, we've seen like 5 different cards in that last spot. Grandmaster says, okay, I am 1 Destroy card short of where I want to be. I can Grandmaster on turn 2 and just push my Carnage to the middle and eat a bunch of extra stuff. Sorry, Grandmaster on turn 3 and do that. I can Grandmaster on turn 4 and get an extra use out of my Venom or Deathlock or Killmonger or whatever that I wouldn't otherwise be able to get, and that extra trigger enables my whole deck. It's really cool. It's only 56%. Destroy is not the most consistent thing, but this is a very good deck, and it's a really, really cool use of Grandmaster that I didn't see coming. Our deck that runs both, the only deck that really runs both, has a stupid win rate but a very low sample size. But it's really, really obvious how this works. So what you want to do here is you go Sauron, right? Then you go Shuri, Red Skull. But oh no, I didn't see Taskmaster. What you can do, if you were smart enough to play Shuri, Red Skull alone or without being able to be killed, is you can go Grandmaster to push that Shuri in the middle and drop Typhoid Mary. Or Scar. And then you get another 20 or 22 power card in the middle lane when you didn't have Taskmaster and couldn't have otherwise done that powerful play. It's pretty cool, right? Especially Silver Samurai discards Taskmaster, they snap you, and you're like, well, I've got Grandmaster still in Scar, Grandmaster and Typhoid. Let's go. Let's see what that is. And then you should be able to win the game still reasonably often, right? It's a very cool play. Obviously, the rest of this is just Shuri Red Skull, which is very strong. I think this actually might be the right build for this, like the correct way to play the deck. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty close to sure. Cool. I still don't like Zero as much as others do in this list. I don't know what to tell you. All right, next up we have our next deck. This is the one I pseudo made that like other people also made. I was 1 card or 2 cards off this. I'm pretty sure 1 card off this in the like pre Grandmaster video. I think I had Werewolf in it for no readily apparent reason with a couple extra ones. But this is simple. It really sucks to get with Subterranean, right? And so you go something like Korg, if you can. Then you go Zabu or Ravonna. Then you go Widow or Rockslide. And then if you have Grandmaster, you can play the other of Zabu or Ravonna with Grandmaster. And you can put 4 rocks in their deck if you have Rockslide, or you can prevent them from drawing twice in a row Black Widow. At that point, it's really, really hard for them to put out a lot of power. And you've got Ms. Marvel and a giant Darkhawk and Mystique that are now really cheap. Or Iron Man and Mystique that are now really cheap. And then you win the game. And there's very little they can do about it. Iron Lad is your backup plan for like any number of these cards. It's ridiculously strong. When I built it on stream, I had Absorbing Man. By the time I got off stream, I had already cut it for Shang-Chi, because what you gonna do? I wanted Absorbing Man because Absorbing Man, after a Widow or Rockslide, is really strong. But I need at least 1 tech card, because if this doesn't see all the control properly, it can struggle with the giant card. And, you know, that's what Shang-Chi is for. It's the meta police, right? So it's also got Iron Man, which is just a lot of... Like, it's just a very good deck. Weak to Enchantress, but you should generally be throwing priority until the end of the game. And even more than that priority throw, it's relatively hard for them to draw any of their pieces when they've lost 2 draw steps, and then one of those draw steps is likely to be rocks, right? If you can do -3 draw with this deck is phenomenal. So 65% in a real sample of 110 games. This deck is great. I assume its win rate will go up as more people play it, unless Blob suddenly restorms the meta after Saturday's tournament. So I told you the story already of how I made this on Roby's stream. We were talking about Grandmaster, and I was like, someone got hit with Subterranean. I was like, I want to make my own Subterranean. So I was like, okay, let's go and do this. I also have a version of this that I'm winning a lot with, but that I'm not ready to share yet. That's doing the previous, what I called the best deck in the game before Blob, which was the, it never was explored enough, but it's the Moon Girl version that runs Quinjet on top of this stuff, on top of the Darkhawk package, and it just is so explosive in power and disruption. Where it's just saying, okay, so if I Moon Girl, and have Moon Girl and She-Hulk in this list too, right? Moon Girl, Quinjet, She-Hulk, Sunspot, and then on top of everything else, it's just really hard to beat. So I built those 2 decks on stream. They're just older decks that we've had around that needed updates for the current meta. I told you that's what excites me. All right, so you need, in order to play these decks, you need Darkhawk, Zabu, and Ravonna. Ms. Marvel can be Doom if you have Lad. If you don't have Iron Lad, it should be Super Skrull or Jubilee. Grandmaster can be Jeff or Shadow King or Absorbing Man. Lad is Super Skrull if you have Ms. Marvel, and Jubilee if you not. If not, good. Lad is also, yeah, good. All right, 65 win rate. What really impressed me was a 0.82 cube rate, and this is my the best Grandmaster in the game with over 100 games. Turn 1 Korg, turn 2 Zabu or Ravonna, pending hand. If you have like Iron Lad, then Zabu is better. If you have, if you might be playing your Darkhawk early because you know they're not running Shang, because remember Conquest is a thing, then you can prioritize either, etc. We're good here. If you've got Iron Man and no other 4, then Ravonna might be better, so you can start planning to Iron Man on 4. Next up, if you don't have either of those plays, Grandmaster on Korg is just fine. You just played a Rock Slide on turn 1 and 2. They're very likely to draw at least one of those rocks. You've killed a draw step. Turn 3 is Rock Slide, and that's more or less equal to Widow. It's really close, and it's not worth the determination of which is better. Rock Slide is 2 more power on Darkhawk, but Widow is the negative draw, and then they get -1 on their boards. That's one of the power for Darkhawk made up. It's not worth the argument pick which one you think is right for the situation. If you're playing Destroy, right, Rock Slide's probably better because now you can stop a draw step versus them just destroying the stupid Widow's Bite. Iron Lad is your other option here. You can also Ms. Marvel just fine, I guess. Turn 4, Ms. Marvel or Lad, or you can play the other of Zabu or Ravonna. And if you don't play Zabu or Ravonna on 2, and you have one now, do not play Ms. Marvel or Lad. Play Zabu or Ravonna plus Grandmaster on Rock Slide or Widow. Snap before you do so. Your opponent should probably leave. Turn 5, a 3 and a 2 is just fine. That's where your Ms. Marvel and Lad come in. That's where if you didn't drop your other cards, that's where they come. It's fine. If not, you can just happily drop Ms. Marvel or Lad or whatever. If you have an extra energy, Korg is great here. Finally, turn 6, Darkhawk and Mystique if possible. Shang fits 2 if Zabu and Ravonna. You can also on turn 5 reasonably often drop Iron Man, and then you can copy Mystique and then play another card. It's very good. This deck is just very, very, very good. Alright, quick variant look. Korg, Zabu, Ravonna, Lad, Iron Man. So 5. We could have 2 more. We could have Ms. Marvel and Black Widow, but I decided to go Peach Momoko, and so we have Peach Widow, Peach Shang. This is my favorite Darkhawk in the game, that's why it's in the thumbnail, and we love rock, paper, scissors, slide. Alright, Demon Legionnaire is an okay deal. It is below what is usually recommended for buying with real money. So if you're spending real money on the game, unless you're just looking for a low-cost purchase, this is not worth it. It's just one fine variant in gold. It's better than just buying gold from the shop, so if you're going to do that, you can get this, but generally speaking, it is not recommended. There is also, in discussion with Yeti, because Yeti is where I get most of this, along with Carolus, who released this other part of it. In discussion with Yeti, we realized it's really hard to know whether gold is super valuable. Are they going to continue to nerf gold-only bundles? If so, then gold has less value than it did before. We don't know if that's going to be the case. There's no reason to assume it is, but there's also not really a reason to assume it isn't, since they've gotten slightly worse. If that trend continues, if it stops where it is, we're still fine with gold. If that trend continues, gold goes down in value. We don't know. We don't have a way to know, so we're just going to say this, since the progress value on this is not especially hard anyway, skip this bundle. Alright, our final deck is Blob. It's not 82% win rate. It was when I first made the deck. I pulled it very early, and I waited for the right time. This is a very cool deck. This is my favorite Kingpin deck in Marvel Snap, period. I decided to throw in the Hip Arrow. It's a simple deck. It uses the move package to gain power. It's still one of the best packages in the game. And then it's got Blob as a finisher. If you draw Magneto, Magneto's probably bigger than Blob. If you didn't draw Magneto, then Blob is probably really, really big. You should play Blob if like Magneto and Arrow in your deck, right? It's 21 power. It's great. So Jeff or Silk can be Cloak, but you need 1, and you need Blob. Everything else is low series, right? Right. So this has a 66% win rate with a 0.75 cube rate in 30 games. And Ika is Bay. Ika is a phenomenal deck builder. Turn 1, you play Nightcrawler. Turn 2, Kraven is more or less equal to Kingpin. I like Kraven better. I prefer to build my own power, but Kingpin has value too. Then we've got, also you can move your own cards more easily than opponent's cards, so Kraven tends to get a little bigger. But Kingpin is still super frustrating for opponents, especially if they're like playing that first deck with Werewolf. Then we've got Jeff, who's more or less equal to Silk, after the Kraven more or less equal to Kingpin. Turn 3, Polaris or Spider hit its scalar. If not, you play one of the other 2-drops. Then turn 4, Miles, if he costs 1, and Spider Polaris, or a 2-drop. And then you drop Arrow or Vision, and then you drop Blob or Magneto, and then you win. Quick variant talk. We got Hip Nightcrawler, Hip Jeff, Hip Spider-Man, Hip Vision, Hip Blob, Hip Magneto. That's 6 hips. I threw the Arrow Hip in there because I want it. It's not out yet. We went with the Venomized Kraven to be with the Venomized Silk, so that we have double Venomized for the movers. We've got the Rian Polaris. This is my favorite Miles. It has a gold background. And that's the variance of this one. That was easy. We are finally at my shop of the day. I opened a random variant and got another frickin' Mr. Negative. Then I opened my shop the next day and found, you guessed it, Mr. Negative. I would really, really like it if Marvel Snap stopped trying to give me Mr. Negative every other day. I don't play Mr. Negative. Make it stop. My favorite Mr. Negative, by the way, is the bottom left one. I did bury the lead, though, here. I got the Hip Rescue, which is why I'm one White Tiger away from variant complete for everything released before January, which means everything that has a variant for sale, I will have a variant for that I like, which is really cool. As far as the other, I also bought the Deathlock because I have all the other hips. At this point, I'm just buying hips because I love hips. It's also Hip Deathlock is really great. Hip Rescue is phenomenal, and I should have had it sooner. And Hip's a kind of good card right now. Sorry, Rescue's a kind of good card right now. Not great, but good. Okay. I have the Hip and Jacinto for Carnage. Don't need that. I have the Jim Lee for Storm. I have the Baby for some reason, and I also have the Savage Land one, and then the really cool one they gave us for free in the bundle with gold. So I'm not buying the Peach Momoko. Storm has great variants, but we're fine. I have Hip for Evolutionary and Hip for Brood. I have Baby Modok and then Season Pass Modok and then some other Spotlight Modok. So thanks, they all look the freaking same. And I talked about Mr. Negative. Please stop giving Mr. Negative and Dracula. I have a lot of Mr. Negative and Dracula variants. All right. Certain tiers of Patreon support come with on-air thanks. We've got Models, Pretty Chill, Fothar Newman, Inc., NoFlex, Mandatory Burnout, Matt Conduit 23, Good Dog Gamer, Cardix Lee, Mikey Hijinks, DG Winfield, Cables, Rob Silverman, Matt H., Abigail Gieslin, Direwolf, Ocularis, Jay Navarrete, Spike Jones, Koi Ray, Louis Ancinez, JD McDonaldino, and the homie Min. Also, huge shout out to Cables. Thank you so much for the super chat yesterday. So appreciated. All right, today's decks are bad frickin' ass. Keep it tuned here for Sunday to break down that Lampy tournament. If you're interested in that Patreon, check it out, patreon.com/snapjudgments. Exclusive content every frickin' day. Stay with us. See you soon. Peace.